Hello, my name is Spencer Burbage, and this is my third research and discovery project. I decided to do it on Leonardo da Vinci. To start off with, I'd just like to get into his early life and how it kind of went. He was born on April 15th in 1452. He was actually the illegitimate son of a notary and a peasant girl, but his father did claim custody of him pretty quick after his birth, and in his father's household, he was given access to a lot of different educational texts, stuff like that. He was able to learn a bunch of stuff, and when he was about 14, he was able to get an apprenticeship under Andrea del Verrocchio, which, if I said that wrong, my bad. But Verrocchio was a well known sculptor, painter, and goldsmith. And while he was working with Verrocchio, he contributed to a bunch of arts where he's not credited. But eventually, his talent was just too great. Like, he just could not stay there. And later on, actually, it's alleged that upon seeing how much his pupil had surpassed him, Verrocchio allegedly decided just not to paint anymore. It was just, I'm done. And then, but after this, he would go on to work with a bunch of different courts, royals, or notable people, and design. Not only did he do amazing paintings, beautiful artworks, he also designed multiple different diagrams or inventions for like civil use and just amazing stuff, just really incredible. Lots of studies on the human form and stuff like that. He ended up dying on the 2nd of May in 1522, which his last benefactor and his really close friend, which was the King of France, Francis the 1st, was present and like reportedly held him as he died. So they were very close. It was a very beautiful friendship. And then getting into some of his most iconic works, which would be the Last Supper, which is a depiction of the Last Supper from the Bible, specifically the moment in which Jesus says, "One of you guys is gonna betray me later, and that's not gonna be great." And within that art piece, if you look closely, you can see the individual reactions of each person, with Judas even being seen holding the purse of coins that he got for selling out Jesus, which is just great. But this work is really interesting because while it was a mural done in a monastery in Milan, it was not done in the fresco style. It was done in with oil paint, which was not the traditional way. It was kind of an experimental way, and it did not hold up well. It began to like chip and crack and flake off pretty quick after it was done, and it just has not stood up to the test of time, such as other fresco works done by like Michelangelo and other traditional murals. The second most iconic thing, well, the most iconic art piece he's known for is the Mona Lisa, which is by many accounts the most iconic and recognizable piece of art in the entirety of the world. This is just a regular oil painting of a and it's thought that it was a commission of a Florentine merchant, but it was never really delivered. Like, Da Vinci just kept this forever. And yeah, we don't know why it wasn't delivered, but it's a little different from your typical Italian Renaissance portrait at the time because she's facing the viewer more head on, whereas the traditional depictions were always from the side. This kind of says that he has some Northern Renaissance, not Northern Renaissance, Northern Renaissance influences that he was drawing from, and as well as using his own sfumato style, which kind of just created a hazy or smoky background to the character. And it's an incredible work. It's been distributed and parodied for centuries. It's one of the most iconic pieces of art ever made. And next up, I'd like to get into the diagrams of and engineering he did. His most famous diagram is of the Vitruvian Man, which is a representation of perfect human proportions described in a text by the Roman architect Vitruvius. It depicts a man held within a circle and a square, and his appendages are seen as lining up with both of them, being a sort of harmonious thing. This is just a really great drawing. We're not sure exactly why he made this. It's not really supposed to be a piece of art, or if it was, it's not really supposed to be a piece of art, and it's not really meant to be shared. It's kind of just something he had for a workshop or showed his friends or gave to a friend. Again, we're not exactly sure, but yeah, that is something that he did, and it's a great little thing. The second thing I'd like to talk about is his design for an endless screw. And this was something he designed to help him be able to move heavy loads up in the air more safely. Because at the time, the thing that they had was a single tooth design that kind of just, if it broke, the whole thing would just fall down and, cause horrible accidents. He was not credited for this for a long time. It was actually credited to, the invention of it was credited to an English clockmaker, which is the case for a lot of his different ideas and inventions, just because he had so many of them that as these ideas were rediscovered and repurposed, they began to be credited out to new people or people that just had stumbled across the idea. So that's just a common theme throughout his life and his discoveries. And then I just want to talk about some of his influences on modern times. He was so far ahead of his time that many of his designs and concepts have really just come to fruition now. Like things like helicopters, tanks, submarines, and machine guns. And he even talked about what could be considered like a robot in terms of what we think about it today. And the ability that he had to foreshadow these inventions was just incredible. And not only was he able to foreshadow these things and kind of predict that they would happen, he was also able to solve issues in the future that he wasn't facing. Like he invented the flywheel, which was necessary for the creation of a steam engine in order to stabilize the unstable input of a hand crank and create a stable force within the engine to get it started. And that was used to, yes, to fix a major issue within the steam engine. And yeah, it's just incredible what he was able to do and the things that he was able to invent during his time that are still applicable today and solve issues today. And then finally, here's my works cited. Thank you so much, and yeah, bye bye.